Now, all three of you, said my mom firmly but gently. We did as she said. My father was standing with his hands behind his back in the room. One thing that made us a little bit smarter than George and even Sam is that I could tell that they was thinking this was going to be bad, but I was still optimistic. Marvin, would you please interrogate them, said my mom with an evil smile. Yes, I will, said my dad. My dad walked to where we were slowly. I am 99% sure I know the answer to this question, but who was your leader when you were gone, my dad asked wickedly gently. I raised my hand because there was no point in hiding it. What did you do as leader, my dad asked. Everything. I swam out to Lake Michigan to get fish's food for them, led her rarest prayer services, took George to go somewhere for sensory issues, and made sure we were up and ready for school every day, I said. You had fish for every meal? My dad asked. Nope, at school we bought the lunch, but it put our accounts in debt, I asked. How much? My dad asked. $30 for me alone, I said. 30, said Sam. Also 30, said George. My dad was actually taking that a lot better than I thought, and so was my mom. What did you do when the weather was bad? My dad asked. We either went to the train station or near where we were, or a building nearby where we were that we really liked. I said to put it bluntly so that our parents wouldn't figure out where we were. Did you follow dress code while you were gone? My dad asked. Yes, we all said muffled together because that we needed to follow even when our behavior was bad. Okay, 2 more questions. First, did you eat food other than fish, which I assume was raw outside of school? My dad asked. Yes, we were near somewhere that had 3 samples of edible plants, I said. Second, where were you hiding? My dad asked. We're not going to tell you unless Mom makes it an embassy to Robbinsog, so that way our little club between me and my brothers can meet there if we need to escape your wrath, and you will never be able to find us, I said. So, are you trying to tell me that if you tell us I have to make it an embassy so you can hide there without getting in trouble at my will? I asked. Yes, I answered. Okay, that was an acceptable answer. But we did try looking for you, but we never found you, said my mom. Then there was some deliberation between my mom and dad, and then they told us what they were going to do. Okay, all 3 of you are off the hook, my mom said. Then the 3 of us gave each other a high five. Marcus, what you told me on the phone when you were on your way out to wherever you were going, you were actually right. We were just scared these past 2 weeks about something happening to you. The main reason why we were looking for you, was not to put a stop to this, but to make sure things were going okay, said my mom. It's Dr. Marcacius, but thank you for saying that. I was right about what I said on the phone. Also, don't worry about that $90. If I had to pay that much to get my children away to spend time with my cuddly wife for 2 weeks, it will do. Though I love being around my children, I just need a break for them once in a while, and it has been a long while, said my dad. Same here, said my mom. One more question, and then we are done. One more question about this, and then we are going to move on. Do you still want to discipline us for my behavior? I said with a smile and a wink. For what happened 2 weeks ago? No, because we got what we wanted, just not how we wanted it. And in the end, I think I preferred it this way, said my mom. Sam and George then went to our bedroom to unload. I stayed out to talk with my parents a little bit more. Are you going to make that an embassy? I asked my mom. No, because I don't need to. Because you were able to do it yourself, said my mom. So what happened while you were gone? I asked. Not important, said my dad. Okay, can I ask you one other question? I asked. Yes, of course. I think it this time you meet my girlfriend Hannah. Would you like to meet her tomorrow? I asked. Sure. We heard you gush about her a lot. Tomorrow is Sunday, which is your Sabbath. You must ask her to come after services, said my mom. Is 5 in the afternoon, fine, so she can come for the evening when we all usually have nothing to do? I asked. Any time after 1 is okay with us, said my dad. Yep, said my mom. Make sure you tell her since last night, since she is not feeling, she must address either of us as your majesty, highness, or my king or my queen, said my dad. Yeah, we will be offended even if she calls us Dr. Robbins, said my mom. That's fine, but she can still call me Dr. Marcacius, I said to my parents. Okay, said my dad. I'll make my famous brisket, said my mom. Oh, are you sure? I don't want you bending over backwards for me, I asked my mom. She could be my daughter-in-law someday. I will be cooking for her then, wouldn't I, said my mom. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad. I will call her, I said. I then dialed Hannah on my phone. Hello, Hannah asked through the phone. Hannah, it's Dr. Marcacius. Can you come over tomorrow at 5, I asked through the phone. You mean to meet your family? Yes. And I'm 99% sure I know what the answer is, but do you mean 5 in the afternoon, early evening? Yep. I'll be over at 5 tomorrow. I'll meet you at Red Jackson to lead you up into the country of Robbinsog, and remember to read your passport. Will do! Bye, Hannah, I'm excited to see you tomorrow. Bye, Dr. Marcacius. I then hung up. I then began talking to Sam and George. You will meet Hannah tomorrow. Sweet, said George. However, there was one thing I think you should note about her, I said to Sam and George. What is it, said Sam. She has social anxiety disorder, and because of that, you may have issues being social with her, I said. Is that a form of autism, George asked. No, you just may have issues being social with her, I said. We know that already, because you know how little contact Mom and Dad have with the outside world, George said. Yeah. Yep, I said. I then went outside and began talking with my parents. We're on, I said. Okay, said my mother. However, do you know Hannah suffers from social anxiety disorder? So you may have difficulty being social with her, I warned my parents. Understood, said my father. At least it's not autism, said my mother. Speaking of autism, you know what you need to do if you decide to marry... Speaking of autism, you know what you need to do if you do decide to marry her, said my dad. Yes, I said. We won't hold that against her now, but you know that if she doesn't convert when you married her, we are done with you. Well, because that's like saying this isn't real, reminded my mom, like she does about our religion sins. Yes, I said. That's my boy, said my dad. Do note that at about 10 minutes before 5, I am heading to Red Jackson Station to meet Hannah, and then I will bring her up here with us, I said. Note written in head, said my dad. Same here, said my mom. You guys do note that you are going to dress as royalty tomorrow. I gave them a friendly reminder. It's my job to be the reminder, not you. We then all laughed. I love the way you matured today. Thanks, I said. I then went back to my room to unpack.